Okay, here's how these people lost all their profits to just mortgage interest alone. Let's go. Hey guys, this is Marcus, and many of you may have seen this article saying that interest rates cuts are being postponed, and also I've been getting a lot of comments on my post saying that, oh, if the person take loan, right, you need to calculate the interest and all these things. They say, Marcus, your max fail, when you calculate the profit, you never calculate the interest that's being paid. That's why today I'm going to do a video for you just to share with you like how you calculate the net profit after including the interest right now. So we're going to deep dive into the numbers. I'm going to show you some of the people that didn't really make profit and how to calculate the kind of profit margin you should be aiming to get before buying a property. So if you're thinking that this is going to be another agent video that's telling you that, oh, buy when the interest rates are high, because when the interest rates are low, the price will shoot up and you'll be priced off the market. No, it's not going to be. We're going to deep dive into the numbers to give you a clearer understanding of how the mortgage rates work and also how to calculate the progressive interest that you'll be paying, which many of the agents may not even know. Last but not least, I'm also going to go through the case study of a real client so that you have a clearer understanding of what you should be doing moving ahead. At the end of the video, I'll also be sharing with you my recommendation as a property investor over the years so that you can understand how to mitigate this high interest rate environment. If you like open sharing like this and it's not the first time you are watching my video, do me a favor, like this video because it's going to help me a great deal. Thank you so much. Now, before we go into the main topic, as promised, I'm going to show you how these people lose all their profit to mortgage interest. So today, right, let's go to this Square Foot website and you search for Riverfront Residences. This condominium over here, and you scroll all the way down, you will see the profitable transaction. And you must be telling me that, hey Marcus, I go for every kind of seminar. They always show us all the profitable transaction. Yes, the trick is you just click on profit and then you'll sort based on the highest and the lowest. And you are telling me that the agent always show you the highest. Today, I'm going to be the neutral one. I'll show you the lowest and I'll click again. And the person that made the least profit was actually just $22,000. And if you ask me, right, I don't even need to do any calculation. You know that this person never make much because just the agent fee alone is almost 20K already. So this property, only IRAs make money, the developer make money, and the agent make money. The clients never make money and all. And why agents are always showing you the higher profits, right, is because for a very simple reason. You always buy having a target price to achieve in mind, and most of the time it will be based on 20%. And why 20%? In this video at the end, during the conclusion, I'll go through with you. And that being said, let's move on to the main topic of today. Now, first we're going to talk about what kind of interest rate. It's going to be a fast one. You have fixed rate, you have also got floating rates. So according to DBS, a fixed home rate comes with an interest rate that it remains unchanged throughout the lock-in period. A floating rate, on the other hand, varies throughout the tenure of the loan depending on the rate at which the loan is pegged to. So in a nutshell, fixed rate means that throughout the period you'll be paying the fixed amount, so no risk of fluctuation. Floating rate means to say that it fluctuates according to the market. So which one is better? Over here, DBS also very nice. It says a fixed rate loan is useful in rising rates environment since the borrower can lock in rates. That means back then when the rates were actually at 1.3, 1.4%, if you took a fixed rate 3 years, right, you're happy lah, because now, right, then you need to refinance. Some of my clients actually did that. But however, if you are taking a loan today, I would think that since the Feds are saying that the rates may be dropping, there's a sign of pivoting in terms of the interest rate. A floating rate would make a bit more sense at this point in time, but all in all still depends on your own risk assessment as well. Now, who qualify for a fixed rate? If let's say you're buying a resale property, you can apply for fixed rate or floating rate. If let's say you're buying a BUC, new launch, means you can only qualify for a floating rate. So I'm not going to touch on too much on the interest rate. I'll link them in the description. Next, we're going to talk about how to calculate the interest rates. Let's first talk about fixed mortgage rate. So fixed mortgage rate is actually quite straightforward. Let's use $1.5 million purchase price, 2.95% interest rate, 30 years loan tenure, 75% loan. It brings us to a loan amount of $1.125 million. And it's interesting to see over here, the monthly repayment is $4,713. But what is the amount of money that you are throwing away? Technically, you are throwing away $4,713, but theoretically, you are actually just paying for the interest, because the principal amount, $1,947, actually helps you to lower down the loan balance each month when you pay for your mortgage. And it's quite an interesting thing to see. When you lower and you pay for your mortgage over time, right, it actually reduces the loan amount and you start to pay more on your principal than your interest. That means you're paying less interest after every single month of paying your mortgage. Now, coming over to the floating rate, it gets a little bit more confusing, especially when you're buying a new launch property, because the new launch property what we call a BUC, charges you the interest based on stages, what we call progressive payment. So let's talk about this. So for a similar purchase price of $1.5 million, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 generally comes in at about the same time. If let's say you are buying a property that foundation is already done, you basically pay your 25% down payment and the stamp duties you need to pay for. Then you pay installments based on 5% of the purchase price. If it sounds very confusing, just look at this chart. 5% at stage 1, disbursement amount 75,000. Principal estimated that you are paying is 108, and then the monthly estimated interest is actually $250. So what I'm trying to show you over here is that the interest is being charged in stages. And for a normal person, let's say you take about 3 years, let's assume this overall completion takes exactly 3 years for you to get your keys, right? You'll be paying $3,000 in terms of your interest. And let's say this property actually takes you 3 years to meet its issuance of temporary occupation permit. Means to say that you'll be just paying 85% of the purchase price. Last 15% will be disbursed after developer obtains his CSC, Certificate of Statutory Completion. You can actually rent out your property before you pay for the full sum, which most of the owners actually enjoy positive cash flow over there. But this is a separate topic altogether. But let's go back to here. The big question here is that when you're actually paying all this interest that you do not know, how do you calculate the exact form of profit? Many times we actually calculate the profit margin. We are unable to show you based on the interest because everybody actually get different kind of loan packages. Some go for longer loan tenures. When it's a longer loan tenure, obviously your monthly interest is lower. If it's a shorter loan tenure, your monthly interest will definitely be higher because you actually disperse out a higher amount every single month. So now I'm going to show you a table that most of the agents won't show you. If let's say you're buying a property at let's say $1.3 million, it's on the progressive payment stage. So what is the amount of interest that you're actually paying? Earlier on, the one that you saw is a brief overview, but this one actually breaks down the numbers based on the purchase price that you're talking about and the number of years. So if let's say I use this purchase price, I scroll down on this column interest, for the first stage will be actually at about $200 over to about $600 over. If I scroll down all the way until year 3, typically by year 3, you should have gotten your keys already. We are talking about an interest of 30 over 1,000. Okay, as promised, I'm going to show you a real life example. I literally just did this morning for one of my clients. I'm not going to show you who they are for privacy purpose, but they are in pretty good shape right now. Kudos to their decision they made in year 2021. And also, before I get there, right, if you think that agents are only trying to tell you all the nice and flowery things, that are not true, because we are very detailed when we go down to every single calculation. Let me show you. Profit for this investment, including progressive interest, purchase price 1.18 million, selling price at 1.38 million, down payment, BSD, total outlay was 326,000 plus minus. So with a 24 months progressive payment interest before collecting their keys, based on paying for 24 months of progressive payment, it equates to a total interest of close to 16,000. I broke it down, I used 15,000 as an example for easy calculation. And why 2 years? Because on the 3rd year, they literally collected their keys and moved in. So it became an own stay property. So if you calculate interest payment on the own stay property, it's not very fair because you need to know everybody needs a house to stay. How can you avoid paying interest? Even if you say that you pay full cash and you don't pay for interest on mortgage, think again, because you also lose out on the interest that you could potentially make from putting your money into T-bills, the 3 to 4% that you're getting there, and that's an opportunity cost. We'll talk about that later. Let's go back over here. Net profit 123,116, which is profit minus BSD minus com minus 24 months of interest. Net profit is 37% return on equity. Net annualized profit is 12.5% per annum. Does it look good? Let me know inside the comments. But based on myself, I cannot see much assets that can actually make 12.5% per annum on your money. Long story short, 12.5% per annum, sui bo. Good enough or not? If it's good enough, consider. Agent fee in 2024 is about 30,000. So we are using this to calculate the total proceeds and buying capital that the clients have. So sale proceed minus outstanding loan minus CPF minus agent fee minus legal fee is this, which means that you have a cash after sales of 290k. CPF OA wife after refund is 145,000. CPF OA husband is 100k. So the savings for the property, they also have included some savings that they have set aside for the property purchase. Well done. Respect you for that. They are not that old, they are in their mid-30s only. So total capital is $735,000. Now, down to the options over here, total capital with 735k. Option number 1 is to max out your 735k and maybe use a bit more of your cash to go and buy the more aggressive route, which is for some people, they may have a situation whereby they have other equities that they have not liquidated. So we leave this as an option as well, not always the recommended one. So option 1, purchase price 2.64 million, loan is 1.98 million, which they can qualify for. Loan tenure 29 years old. They are at about 35, 36 years old. Monthly installment is $8,420. For privacy purpose, we won't tell you the income, but yes, they can actually afford to do so. 5% cash plus all the outlay, total $761,000. Leaves them with no savings. Monthly installment is $8,420. This is for the more aggressive or those that were a bit more conservative when revealing their savings. Option number 2, which is the ideal situation, is purchase a property at $2.2 million. Obviously, they're starting a family. They want to buy something that has a reasonable amount of size because living with their parents wasn't an option. Loan amount 1.65 million, loan tenure 29 years, monthly installment 7,000 plus. Still cheaper than the earlier one, of course. Total outlay $629,000, leaving them with an 18-month savings of $132,000. Like I say, this will be the ideal option. Of course, with a total purchase quantum of $2.6 million, which we mentioned earlier on, right? There's also an option of buying a property that is $1.6 million for own stay, a 3-bedroom in the outskirts of Singapore, and then buying a 2-bedroom in also the outskirts of Singapore as a rental property. But that option is usually not the kind of options we will ask the clients to go for, because if you don't have any more savings for you to tide through difficult times, right? I'm just worried one day you will call me to say that you need to sell a house, not you want to sell a house. And we handle this with a lot of empathy because I myself grew up in a below average family. I know how it is like to worry about money, and I never want my clients to be like that. So option number 2 usually is what we will ask our clients to go for. And the next step we are going for, we have already identified a new launch property that can give them 15 to 20%. And I will tell you why 15 to 20% later. Now, my recommendation, if let's say today you are looking to buy a new launch property and you ask your agent how much profit you should be aiming for, I would say it's 15 to 20%. It's the kind of projection that we're looking at, because today, if you use my client as an example, bought at 1.18 million, made a 200,000 profit, it is a 17% gross profit. So 17% gross profit brings you 12.5% net return on equity. I think that is a very, very decent profit. So if you ask your agent, $2 million property can make how much? They tell you 200k. Then I would think this is not a property that you should be buying. If they tell you it's 3 to 400,000, yes, it makes sense. And then you need to go through mentally whether it makes sense to you or not. Next, if you're in a situation whereby you're thinking of fully paying off your property mortgage, I would say think again, unless you're terrible at managing your own finances. Why? Because the $100,000 you put inside T-bills instead of paying off your mortgage will get you 3.6%. But putting into your mortgage will only save you 2.95%. So if you use simple mathematics, you know it don't make sense to take out the money to go and fully pay off your mortgage, unless if you're somebody that sucks at managing your money, you tend to spend on luxury and things that don't make sense, or you always lose your money in the stock exchange, right? Yep, maybe you should fully pay off your mortgage. I believe you learned something so far, and if you do so, help me tap the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell because we post weekly real estate videos like this. And if you have any questions, drop them into the comment section, or I'm just a phone call away. That being said, wish you all the best, and I'll see you at the next one.